Hi, today I'm going to make a tutorial on Adobe Photoshop especially for beginners. I will take about 1.5 hours to cover almost each and every important concepts and important techniques that are needed to learn Photoshop. And for the beginners who want to learn Photoshop and don't have any experience of learning Photoshop, this video is for you. So it will not be too long and it will cover almost everything. Make sure you have Photoshop in your system and practice it in your system as well. So let's start. So first of all, I will start talking about preferences and interface of Adobe Photoshop. The version that you are looking at your screen that I have opened in my system is Adobe Photoshop CC, but you can use other versions of Adobe Photoshop as well. If you have installed other versions, then it's okay, good to go with me with this tutorial. So let's start with the interface. At the top you can see that there are many options: file, edit, images, layer, type, select, that I'll talk later on in this video. And below that there are some options based on the selected tool that we select from this toolbar. You can see that if I select other one, these options will be changed, and it will be changed as I keep on selecting other tools as well. Alright, so on the top right side you can see that there are different windows. On the top there is a color window, and in between there is a window for adjustment layer. There are styles, default styles, and at the bottom there is the layers panel, which is very important. And on this window you can see that there are different options, history, actions, that I have manually set it this window. Alright, if you want to bring all these options right here on this window, what you need to do, you need to go to window and click on all of these options to activate these things. Alright, if you install Photoshop first time and you open it, you will not see all these options right here in this window. You need to activate these options manually by going to Windows options. Alright, you can drag individual window from one place to other place. Alright, like if I want to drag this left toolbar to any other, to the right, I can do it like this, but it is recommended to keep it to the left side. Alright, and if you have changed your interface according to your own requirement, you need to save that interface by going to new workspace and name it and then save it. Later on when you will open it, your Photoshop, that new interface will already be set it. If you have changed your interface and you close Photoshop without saving it, then your all settings of interface will be lost. Alright, so now let's go and check out the preferences first. I'll go to edit, preferences, and go to general. Alright, I'll not be talking about each and every options from here that I'm not used to of all of these. First of all, there's that I use to most is the interface. You can change the theme color. I have changed it to the extremely dark, but you can change it to the lighter and too much lighter as well, but I like it most black because I use Photoshop a lot and I want it to be blackish to not to affect my eyes. Okay, so there are other options as well. Now let's go to sync, file handling. The thing that I have done right here is, this was previously 20 and I have changed it to 30 files. If you use Photoshop a lot, then I would recommend you to change it to 30 at least. You can change it to more as well. I'll tell you that what does it mean once I click OK on this preferences. There's the performance settings. What you need to do there, it will detect the RAM of your system and it will ask you to assign a particular part of RAM to this tool, to Photoshop. I have added the part of RAM to this tool is the 70%. Alright, if you're using other tools as well, that I have Visual Studio, I have Eclipse, I have Android Studio as well, that I have concurrently using all these tools, that I need to bring this down because I want my RAM to be used for the other tools as well. Alright, I can use the color cursor styles as well, but I don't recommend anything like this to change. Okay, so now you can, I've already changed my settings. If you have changed any of these settings, you can click OK. So let's cancel it the file number of files that I showed in preferences means that if I go to open recent, it is showing me 30 numbers of files recently that I have opened in Adobe Photoshop. Alright, if you are working with a lot of images, then it is good to change that value to 30. Okay, so this was all for preferences and interface. Now let's talk about some images. What you need to do, you need to open image in order to use it in Photoshop. I have already opened it, as you can see on my screen. In order to open it, go to file, click open. Alright, you can see that there are a lot of images right now. If you want to open it, just select it and click open. And if you want to open multiple images, just press Ctrl and select those images and click open. You can see that all those images have been opened inside Adobe Photoshop. Alright, and there are different tabs for you to click on it in order to activate any particular images to work on. Now if you want to change the layout of these images, you can do it as well. Just go to Window, Arrange, and you can click on Tile in order to convert all those images and see all those images at once inside of Photoshop. You can choose other options as well. Horizontally, you can make it to 3 as well. Alright, or there are other things as well. Alright, but I would keep it to consolidate to all tabs. Alright, there is another, you can navigate to different images by clicking on it, but if these tabs are not available, there is a shortcut key for it. Just press Ctrl Tab in order to navigate to other images. It is very helpful if you have opened Photoshop in a large screen where you don't have these options. If I press F, you can see that those options F have gone. If I press F again, and you can see that I am looking this image in a bigger size. Now if I don't have those tabs to navigate to other pictures, I need to press Control Tab in order to navigate to images. Now I'll press Escape to go back to the previous state. Alright, so this is how you can work with multiple images inside Adobe Photoshop. So now I think that it's all about the interface and opening and closing images inside Adobe Photoshop. Now let's talk technically about the actual thing inside Photoshop. I'm going to talk about basically all these tools on the left side, but first I think that I need to tell you about layers, because without layers nobody can be a normal user of Adobe Photoshop. So you can see that if I open a new image inside Adobe Photoshop, that image exists on a default background layer. This is the name of layer that Photoshop assigns automatically. We can change it as well, but it is assigned to it by Photoshop. Okay, so what are layers? Layers are basically transparent sheets that are the stacks of above or down with respect to other layers. So what does it mean? You can see that there's a background layer. If I want to create a new layer, I need to just click on this icon. You can see that there is a new layer that will be created above the layer that was previously selected. If I click on it, this means that this layer is selected. Alright, and if I select this layer 1 and I go to brush, alright, and if I draw it, let's increase its opacity and flow, and if I just draw something, alright, you can see that this is being drawn on the layer 1 because the layer 1 was selected, background layer was not selected. And why this thing is being shown? Because this layer 1 is above the background layer. Alright, if I just unlock this layer and I just drag it below the layer 0, you can see that that is gone, because the layer 0 contains all the pixels of this image. It does not contain anything on any particular area. It has pixels on all the canvas of this image. Alright, if I want to bring it back, I need to drag it above. So everything that is on the above layer will hide everything that is on the lower layer. Alright, now let's create another layer and let's change its color to black, and if I draw it, you can see that the black color is hiding green color wherever the black color is being drawn. Alright, if I want to bring the green color above the black layer, I need to bring it back to top of this layers panel. Okay, so as I told you that these are the transparent sheets. Whatever we draw on one sheet will hide everything that is being drawn on the lower sheet. Okay, so now there are some tips. If you want to create a new layer, just select any layer, and when you will create a new layer, it will be created just above this selected layer. So now I will just press Ctrl Shift and N in order to create a new layer. I need to give it a name, not a default layer 3. Let's give it ABC and click OK. So you can see that new layer has been created with the name ABC. It does not contain anything, so it's not hiding anything that is being drawn on the lower layers. Okay, now, so let's say if we want to move everything that is drawn on the layer 1 to the top left corner, what we need to do, we need to select this move tool. This is the top one on the toolbar. Okay, in order to select this tool, we can also press V in order to select it, but I've just clicked on it. Okay, and I have selected layer 1, and you can see that as I click the mouse button and I drag it anywhere onto that canvas, and I can move it anywhere. Okay, this character is being moved because I have selected layer 1, and layer 1 is containing this thing. Alright, if I want to move black as well, I can select layer 2 and layer 1 both. Press Ctrl and click layer 2. You can see that layer 1 and layer 2 both are being selected. Now if I move it, you can see that both the things are being moved. Okay, if I want to select all the layers from layer 2 up to the layer, from layer 1 up to the layer 2, including everything that comes in between layer 1 and layer 2, what I need to do, I need to select layer 1 and press Shift and then select the last layer, which is the layer 2. You can see that I press the Shift and click on the layer 2. Everything that comes in between the layer 1 and layer 2 will also be selected with it. Alright, now let's draw something. Let's change the color to red on ABC layer, and you can see that the red color is being drawn above the black color and below the green color, because this is in between the layer 1 and layer 2. Now I will select all these 3 layers. I just select the layer 2, press Shift and click on layer 1 in order to select all these things. Now I'll press V in order to select this move tool. You can see that I can move these characters as well. So the benefit of layers in Adobe Photoshop is we can draw individual objects of our image on different layers, so that if we want to move any particular object later on, if we want to change the color of any particular object, then we can just select that particular layer that contains that object and change its color or apply any effect on it. It has a lot of other advantages that we will learn later on. Okay, so now I'm going to show you some best practices of using layers. Okay, but before that, you can see that there is a small eye icon. That means that everything that is being shown on this layer 1 can be deactivated. If I click on it, you can see that has gone. It exists there, but that has been deactivated, that has been hidden but not deleted. Alright, if I want to activate it, I can just press it again. If I want to do it with the red that is on the ABC layer, I can just deactivate it and then activate it as well. So if I want all these three objects on one layer. If I have a project that contains about 100 layers, alright, and I want to bring all those objects on a one layer, there is a shortcut key for it. You don't need to copy and paste each and every object that is being on the layer, on individual layers on a new layer. Alright, just select all three layers, okay, and then press Ctrl Shift Alt and E. Alright, so you can see that if I deactivate everything that is being on the below 4 layers is on the layer 3. Alright, I selected the layer 1, so as I just press the Alt Shift Control and E, it created everything that comes below that layer. So layer 0 was also below the layer 1, ABC and layer 2. So it recreates everything on the layer 3. Okay, so let's press Ctrl Z to bring it back. Now I'm going to draw a small smiley face using these layers in order to show you that what are the best practices of grouping layers and working with the shortcut keys of layers. So let's go to File, click New, and just change the width to 500 and height to 500 and click OK. So you can see that this is the empty layer is being drawn. There is nothing on it except the white background color. Alright, so in order to draw a smiley, what we need to do, there is always a best practice. Whenever we start doing anything, in order to draw anything, we need to make a new layer. So now we need to draw a face for our smiley on layer 1. Just select layer 1 and I will go right here, right click it and click on ellipse tool. Okay, and you can see that as I selected this ellipse tool, there are some options at the top. There's a fill option, means that the face of smiley will be red and the stroke will be is not selected. In order to select the stroke, I need to click on black color, this thing, and I need to select the black color, and I don't want to have a smiley color face, so let's give it to yellow color. No, it will be black, the fill color will be yellow. Alright, now I will press shift in order to have a same radius of circle. So you can see that it is not having a same radius. If I press shift, you can see that it has the same radius. Now I will just click and drag my mouse to right here. Okay, so you can see that I change the properties. There is a width of stroke. We can change it from here as well. So you can see that we can change the stroke of it from here as well. Okay, and there's a width and height of this because I press shift, so it the width and height is same for both the things. Now I'll press enter. Okay, to carry on with it, now I'll press V and drag it up right here. Okay, now I need to draw a left eye for this smiley. What I need to do is, first I need to just double click on the name of this layer and change it to face. Okay, then I will create a new layer. Alright, I will press ellipse. Ellipse tool should have a background white color because the eye background should be white, and change its stroke to 3. Okay, so now let's draw it. Okay, so you can see that it is being drawn, and just double click on it and I will just name it left eye. Okay, and you can see that there is a left eye being drawn. We don't need to draw a right eye again. We can duplicate this left eye and drag it to the right side. So in order to duplicate the layer, we can select the left eye layer and press Ctrl J in order to duplicate it. Alright, we don't see the two eyes, right now because they are on the same position. So I need to just first change it to the right eye. Alright, and click on the right eye layer and press V in order to drag it to the right side. Okay, now I need to draw a mouth for it. Just select right eye and click on there. And now I will just select line tool. Okay, and just draw it right here because its stroke was set to 3.8 and color was already set it. Now I will just press enter in order to go with it. Now I will just change its name to mouth. Okay, now I need to group all these things. There can be two groups. First group is the whole smiley face group and the second thing is the eyes group. So I need to select both the eyes layers and then I need to press Ctrl G. Okay, and then change its name to eyes. You can see that I have these two layers on a group with the name eye. So I need to select all these three layers. Alright, the first one is the eye, mouth and face. In order to select it, just select face and press shift and select mouth. Now I'll press Ctrl and G and I will change its name to smiley. Alright, so you can see that I have grouped all these layers. This can be very helpful if you're working on a large project that contains 50 plus or 100 plus layers and you need to properly name layers in order to remember that what that particular layer contains. Alright, so this was all for the layers and I'll keep on talking about layers because layers are very important in every project, in everything that we need to do in order to use Photoshop. So I'll be using layers while explaining you all these tools and filters, adjustment tools, masking. So layers will be our best friend in this tutorial. So guys, before talking about these tools on the left side, I just want to talk about transformation tools. So right now I have this image and this is on the background layer as you can see on the right side in the layers panel. I just want to create a new object above it in a new layer so that I want to show you the transformation tools exist in Adobe Photoshop. So I'll create a new layer and I will draw any of these shapes. Let's draw this polygonal tool and I will draw it with a mouse button. Okay, so it has been drawn. So press enter and press V to activate the move tool in order to move this tool right here. Alright, so what if I have drawn any particular object? It doesn't need to be drawn from these tools. It can be any kind of image, a background image or any text or anything. We want to shear it up, we want to increase its size, we want to rotate it vertically or horizontally. All these things can be done with the transformation tools. So select the layer which contain that element that you want to transform. So when I select this layer, I need to press Ctrl T in order to activate the transformation tools. You can see that it has a square around it and I can increase its size, and if I want to increase its size with the same ratio, I can press shift and then drag mouse. Alright, if I want to increase its size around its center, alright, I can press shift and alt and you can see that it's been increasing around its center. Alright, so let's check out some more tools. Once this box is active, I will right click on it and you can see that there are a lot of transformation tools. So I'll start from the downside. You can see that I can flip vertically. It has been flipped vertically. Alright, I'll flip vertical again. It has been come back to its previous state. If I will flip horizontally, you can see that it has flipped horizontally. Let's come back to its position. Now you can rotate it 90% around the clockwise, rotate 90% clockwise, rotate 180%. Okay, so these are very meaningful. So now let's check out these tools. If I click on scale, this is already active. When we will able to increase its size using these small square dots on this rectangle or a square, we can scale it. And if I click on rotate, I can rotate it as well. There will be a rotating icon if I hover my cursor near those small squares. Alright, now let's press enter, okay, and press T to activate that again. Now let's check out skew. So what is skew? You can see that if I hover my cursor near any of these lines of this square, you can see that there's an icon. If I click the mouse button, you can see that I can skew it like this. Okay, I can skew it from the above side. Alright, so let's bring it back and let's press shift, let's press control alt and Z. Okay, so let's press control T to activate that again. Now let's check out what is distort. Alright, you can see that distort will, so you can see that if I click on any of these small squares, it will only move to that direction. Alright, previously in scale it was increasing its size with the same ratio. Now this small square is only changing its place from that position. Alright, so this is how we can distort it. Let's check out by drawing it with other things. You can see that the whole line is being distorted. Alright, now let's check out the perspective. Alright, I can do it like this. If I click on it, you can see that I can change this image in a perspective that one part of image is being looked from the near side and other part is being looked from the far away. It doesn't look good if I do it with this square icon polygonal tool, but it will really good if you have an image on a wall and if you want to change it into perspective, you can use it effectively. Alright, so now let's check out wrap. It is very important tool. I use it a lot. You can see that there are a lot of icons. If I click on it and if I drag it, you can see that I'm trying to move it above and I'm trying to move it to this side. I can able to move this side. Now let's check out the middle icons. I can also change its curves. Alright, that how will it look like when I need to bring that small scale to the top right corner. And if I do it like this, let's do it a bit more and let's check out it, and let's do it like this and let's create something like this. So we can do anything with this tool. It is an amazing tool. It's all about your idea and technique, that how you use it. So I just wanted to show you that what are the different transformation tools exist inside of Photoshop. So that's been done. I'll press enter, I'll press Ctrl Z to bring that thing back to its previous state. Now let's hide this layer and delete this layer. We don't need it because I just created it to show you transformation tools. Now let's start talking about these tools on the left side. Alright, the first one you already know it. This is used to move any content. You can see that this can't be moved because it is locked. If I click on it, it will be unlocked and I can move this image anywhere. Alright, so this is all. Now these are the selection tools. These are marquee tools, rectangle marquee tool, ellipse marquee tool. Now let's check out what are these and what are the advantages of it. If I draw any rectangle, this area is selected. Alright, and if I want to brush anywhere, you can see that it is not being brushed. Why? Because I have selected a particular area inside that image, and everything that I will apply on this image will only be affected within the boundary of this rectangle. You can see that I'm drawing it as I enter this square, it will only be shown within it. Alright, and if I click on move tool and change it, you can see that I can drag anything while selecting with the help of mark you tool. I can select any particular area from the image and then I can move it to the other places. Alright, so let's press Control D to deselect the selection and Control Z to bring it back, and do it few more times. Control Alt and Z to bring those things back to the previous states. Alright, let's unlock it. I just pressed a lot of times. So now we can do a lot of things with other ellipse marker tools, single row marker tools. There are different shapes, but the working of all these things are the same. Now what if we want to select any particular area that is not rectangle, not a square, or not a single row or single column? We can do it with the lasso tools. There are very interesting three kinds of lasso tool. The first one is a simple lasso tool. What we can do is we can just select this motorbike and I can click somewhere inside an image and then drag my mouse and then bring it back to the position where I started. You can see that this area has been selected in the shape which I have just drawn. Now I can press V to activate the move tool and then I can drag it anywhere. Alright, so let's press Ctrl Z and Ctrl D to deselect it. Let's check out polygonal lasso tool. It is more of a kind of tool to select any object that contains straight lines. Now let's check out this roof. I want to select this roof, maybe this brown side of this roof. I click on it and then I don't click. If I drag my mouse, you can see that it is showing a line following my cursor. Alright, unless and until I click somewhere inside an image. And see, I have clicked it and you can see that I have clicked it again and I have clicked it again. Alright, you can see that this triangular area has been selected, and again we can press V and then move it anywhere. Alright, so press Ctrl Z and Ctrl D to deselect it. Now let's check out magnetic lasso tool. It is more of an intelligent tool. Alright, it has some kind of, I would say, an artificial intelligence in it. Now let's see if, let's just zoom in. I want to select this window on this house. How can I do it? I will select and click right here, and if I drag my mouse, it will automatically select the difference of colors around this line. You can see that it is selecting the difference. Alright, and you can see that if I just drag my cursor around it, it is automatically detecting that on the right side there is a white color and on the left side there is a different color. So select the area in between these two different colors. As I am going to dragging it, you can see that it is automatically selecting that area. Alright, so I have selected it. Okay, and again we can change that shape. If anything goes wrong, it doesn't detect anything, we can change it. Like, let's do it one more time. You can see that I have clicked on it and it has been selected. If I press V to move it anywhere on the screen, let's press Ctrl Z and Ctrl D to deselect it. Now let's check out the quick selection tool. Alright, so guys, what if I want to select any particular area that is composed of one color? I can do it with this quick selection tool. Now let's select this roof. I click on it. You can see that the whole roof is selected because there wasn't a lot of difference of colors. There was only one color, green color, so it has detected that I want to select the whole roof, so it has selected all these things. Alright, now if I click on it, you can see that it has included these other areas of this roof as well. Now you can see that there are other parts of image that it has not detected and selected really well. What I can do is, you can see that there is plus icon on my cursor. It means that everything that I will be click on anywhere in the image, it will add the new selection into the previous selection. What if I want to remove this particular selection but keep this selection of the roof? I can just select right here on the top menu and it will have a minus sign. If I click on it, you can see that it has been removed. Alright, I can do it with other things as well. Alright, you can see that I have pressed Alt, there is a minus icon. If I leave it, there is nothing. Minus means I want to remove any particular selection from here. You can see that I have drawn right here, you can see that it has been removed. I will do it again. You can see that this has been removed as well. Alright, so we have refined our selection. Now we can do what we want with this selection. Alright, so now let's check out the magnetic wand tool. It is more of a kind of quick selection tool, but I like the magic wand tool more as compared to the quick selection tool. Now let's Control D to deselect it. Now let's click on this green thing again. Okay, so you can see that it has selected bunch of things including green color and so many other things as well. The reason is I want to decrease some tolerance. Alright, and now Control D to deselect it. Now click it again. You can see that it has just selected this particular part of this image and it has left this thing as well. Alright, now what if I want to add this thing to this selection? I will press Shift and click it again. You can see that this thing have been added to the previous selection. I will press Shift and this has added. You can see that we can add anything that we want into this selection. If I want to add anything else to this selection, I can do it with other. Let's select this window icon. You can see that it has been selected, and if I click on it moreover, you can see that the whole window is being selected. Alright, so let's add this one. Alright, if I press V and try to move it, you can see that our roof and window is being moved, and we can take it to the other images as well. Alright, so guys, let's press Ctrl Z and Ctrl D to deselect it. Alright, so now we need to talk about these tools: spot healing brush tool, patch tool, content aware tool. So these are very important tools while you are enhancing the contrast of any image or beautifying any particular character or your own image as well. So let's check out from the start. So I'll click on spot healing brush tool, and to show you I will use this image. Alright, so the thing is that I want to remove these clouds from this image. I can do it with a selection tool, and if I press V after selection I can drag it, but you can see that it doesn't work as we want. It is moving the sky as well. So I'll press Z and press D. So let's select this tool and make sure you have selected proximity match rather than create texture content aware. Alright, so what we need to do, we need to change the size of brush that match that particular character that we want to remove. So if that particular character is bigger than the size of circle, we can drag it. Alright, and if that is inside that circle, we can just click on it. You can see that it's gone, and if I click right here, it's gone, click right here, it's gone. And you can see that how well Photoshop is removing it. Actually not just removing it, but it is filling that particular area by capturing everything that is around that character. Alright, let's press Ctrl Z one more time and select the healing brush tool. Alright, so what we can do is we can select any area around this cloud, and if I press Alt, you will see that there is an icon. So I'll press Alt and click around that cloud. You can see that that area have been selected. That is a bit lighter, So I'll press Alt again and select any area of sky near that cloud. Alright, so actually it's being, the cloud was being selected. Alright, so let's just click right here. Alright, and I'll click on it. You can see that particular area has been replaced with a new area. And if I want to remove these clouds, I just need to come right here and press right here, and if I click on it, you can see that the new area is not just removed but is being replaced with the area that we selected. Now let's talk about patch tool. Control Z, Control Z. What we can do is there are two different things: source to destination and destination to source. Source to destination means if I select this area and I move this area anywhere on the image, and that selected area will be replaced from that area where I will leave that selection. You can see that as I'm moving it, that area is being left. So I want to replace that area with the area that is near to it. So I leave right here. You can see that that has been gone. Destination is the reverse of it. Alright, let's remove the other thing with the destination. So I will just select this particular area and I will bring that area right here. Alright, so that's gone. So I'll press Ctrl D. I will select this area and leave it right here. Okay, so I think that will be good. There are small minor issues, so you don't need to care about that. Okay, the thing is you have got the idea that how these things are used. Okay, now let's talk about content aware tool. Press Ctrl Z few more time, and what it does is there are two more things. If I want to remove this particular cloud to any other place, I can just pick it and leave it somewhere else. Alright, you can see that it is removing this particular cloud from the previous position and adding it to the new position. Alright, so let's bring it back to its previous position. I think this was the position. The extent is that it will keep the cloud to the previous place, as well it will copy that cloud to the new place, and I can just press Ctrl D. Alright, so that are very interesting. You can see that if I want to beautify any of these images, alright, I can do it with these tools as well. And let's do and talk about these brush tools. Brush tools are somehow very important. Alright, we can just brush anywhere, it's so easy. Pencil is like a pencil. Okay, and let's talk about brush mixer tool. What it does is it just mix different colors. If I drag on it, you can see that it is mixing different colors of it, and if I just drawing it, you can see that it's mixing it up. It doesn't work well if we just drag it from the whole screen. We just want to drag it to a little bit to somewhere, that if I want to just remove that particular cloud. Alright, so let's just drag it from here and remove the darker area of this cloud. Okay, so you can see that the darker bluish area of that cloud have been replaced with the color from where I'm starting clicking this brush. Okay, so that's all. I want to remove it actually, so let's spot hint tool, let's click on it, and let's talk about clone. It is very interesting. Let's decrease the size. Okay, now I will just press Alt and click this cloud. Alright, Now I can draw this cloud anywhere on this image. I have selected it and you can see that it is showing this cloud. Alright, and if I just click on it and then draw it, you can see that this is being drawn. Alright, because that area was lighter, so it has drawn the lighter color as well. Okay, so what if I want to draw this bridge above? Write this. You can see that I'm just copying and cloning that bridge above it. You can see that how interesting and how entertaining this thing is. You must be enjoying this thing. And if I want to draw that bridge at the lower place, I can do it as well. Alright, so this is all about the cloning, and let's talk about this history. I can just remove the history that I have ever done on that particular layer. Alright, if I press Ctrl D, because you can see that I cloned this cloud and I just used this mixture brush tool to remove the darker areas of that cloud around it, and I can just remove that with the history. That's gone. It's so easy. Alright, make sure you have selected that particular layer where you have made changes ever. Alright, brush is simply drawing something and removing it, everything that is on particular layer, including the background. Alright, and color means you need to add a color. Simply that is, you need to select the color from here and then do it as well. Alright, gradient mean you can just click over here and drag it up right here, and it will change and apply that gradient that you have selected from here. And I can select right here and then I can change it as well. Alright, and we can load more gradients as well. And so load gradients, if we have downloaded new gradients from the internet, we can just load those gradients, and we can choose other as well. Color harmonic, we can append it to the previous gradients. So I'll select it and I can change it to the any place. Alright, so let's unblock it and click on the layer 0, and as you can see that there are some blur, sharpen, smudge tools. Blur means you want to blur any particular part of image. Let's increase the size. You can see that that cloud is being blurred, and let's check out the sharpen tool, and that cloud is being sharpened. And smudge tool means that you can just disturb any particular character. Alright, change the strength and everything that you want. Alright, burn means you want to just add something to particular area to look like that area is being burned. It will show up black clouds on that particular area like that. Alright, and there are these pen tools. These are very important, and every Photoshop user should know that how to use these pen tools. And these are used to draw different characters, like drawing cartoons, drawing logos, drawing banners, drawing any icons that you might use for your application. So these are very important. It takes a bit longer time in order to explain you, so I will come back to this pen tool later on. Alright, so let's talk about this text, and if I click on it, I can just click right here and will create a new layer that is a text layer. I can decrease its size. Let's decrease it to 18. I can just write anything and I can change its color after selecting it to white, and then I can just press enter and change it as well. I can select all this, and if I click on it character, I can increase or decrease the spacing between characters or spacing between rows of characters. Alright, and from here I can change it to anything as well. double it or just do it. Alright, if I select on it, I can just change it to any of these shapes, arc, shell upper, wavy and all these things. Alright, I can change the font style as well. Alright, so let's just hide this layer, and this is used with the pen tool. I will come back on it later on, and we can draw different characters by these things. I click on rectangle, I can draw a rectangle, I can add a stroke on it, add a stroke and add a color that is inside. If I want to remove the color, I can remove it as well. Alright, so I'll come back to later to this masking. Alright, and we can have other shapes as well. If I click on custom shape tool, you can see that on the top side there are bunch of other shapes as well. Alright, so make sure you have clicked on all. It will bring up all these shapes that are being shown right here. So if I click on it, select any one of these, I can just draw it like this. Alright, we can also edit its shape if we want to do it, but for that I need to show you that how to use pen tool. I'll come back to it later on, because pen tool is all about vector images. Okay, so text is a vector image, and anything that was drawn from this toolbar will be a vector. So let's press Ctrl Z. Alright, so that's all for this toolbar except this pen tool and this path selection tool. I'll come back to this later on, but before that I want to show you masking and filters, and my last topic will be the pen tool. I will talk about the more efficient and more cool ways of selecting particular objects inside an image. Alright, you can see on my screen that this is the image of bunties. What if I want to change the color of yellow bunties from this image, or I want to remove the yellow bunties from this image? If I want to select the yellow bunties with these tools, it's pretty difficult, because it will take a lot of time to select each and every yellow bunty from this image. What if I want to let Photoshop know that select everything that is of yellow color from this image? Okay, so how can I do it? I can do it by going to select and color range. Alright, and then I will select this sample color. Alright, and then I will click on this eyedropper tool with the plus icon. Okay, and then I will click on the yellow, any of yellow bunties. Okay, so you can see that the whitish area inside here, inside the color range window, is shown that this part of this image have been selected. Okay, but I want to select the darker yellow and the lighter yellow colors as well, so I will click 3-4 times onto any of yellow bunty. Okay, so you can see that I'm clicking anywhere right here. Okay, let's do it with other bunties. Maybe some bunties are of darker colors. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. Now if I click OK, then you can see that it has selected all the yellow bunties, all the yellow colors from this image. Alright, and now if I want to change the color of this yellow bunty, I can just select this background layer, and then I will click on hue saturation. Okay, and then I will change the hue. You can see that the color of my selected bunties are being changed. Alright, so you can see that how cool this tool is. We can speed up our work by selecting any particular object of the same color from the image. If I want to change the color of any car or a bike or any object like mobile phones or anything, we can just select the color of from this object by using this color range tool. Alright, and now the second tool that I want to let you know in this tutorial is the focus area, and I will show you with an example of this image. This is the Pakistani cricket player Misbah-ul Haq, and this is the focused image. Before I will show you this tool, I just want to let you know that what is focused image. You can see that this player is looking pretty well. It's these are the nice pixels, and the rest of the part of image is blurred. So this is called focused image. If I want to select this player including its bat, gloves and the whole body using these tools, it will be pretty difficult that I need to select all the parts and I need to make sure that if any part of the player is being selected or not, it will be very difficult. What if I want to let Photoshop know that select everything that is being focused inside an image and leave everything that is blurred from this image? So what I will do now, I will go to select and focus area. Now it will process this image and select everything that is being focused from this image, but it might not select everything because of the values of in focus range and image noise level inside this focus area image. What we need to do now, this image have been selected including some blurred part of this image. In order to exclude this blurred part from this selected image, what I can do is I can just go right here and select this icon with the minus sign. Okay, and in order to remove the blurred area from the image, I will just click right here and you can see that it has been neglected. I will click right here again and then I will click right here again. Alright, so you can see that this image have been selected. You can see there are some borders right here. In order to smoothen these borders, what I will do is I will just click on soften edges and then I will open the refine edge that I have already explained in my previous 2-3 videos. Then I will smooth the borders a bit. Okay, so I think that's pretty well, and then I will smoothen some feather as well. Now I will click OK. So you can see that the image that was being focused have been selected, including its bat, including its gloves and the body. Now you can see that if I go and click on the move tool, and then I can just take this image anywhere and change its background. Alright, so you can see that how efficient this tool is. So what we have learned from this video is the color range tool that I have shown you with an example of applying on this image, and the focus area tool to select everything that is being focused from this image. So this was all for the selection part from this series. I have covered the selection part in my 3-4 videos. I hope that you have understood that what is selection, what are the benefits of selection. So let's start. You can see that this is an image and what I need to do is, if you have seen my previous video, if we apply the brightness and contrast layer on it, and if I increase the brightness, you can see that the brightness is being applied to the whole image, each and every part of the image. What if we want to apply the brightness, contrast or any of these adjustment tools to a particular part of this image? This is where masking comes. Alright, so what I will do is I have increased the brightness. You can see that the brightness have been increased and the contrast have been increased as well. Alright, what if I wanted to apply this brightness and contrast to this car just, alright, but not the these trees and the road and the sky? What I need to do, you can see that as I click on this brightness and contrast tool, Photoshop has already created this layer above the layer 0. Okay, so what it means is this, if you double click on it, it will open up this again, and on the right side you can see that this rectangular whitish rectangle box, alright, it describes that if the white color describes in this rectangle that the contrast and brightness will be applied to the whole image. So what is the opposite color of white? And that is the black. Alright, if we apply the black color on this mask, alright, on any particular area of this image, that brightness and contrast will not be affected to that particular part. Alright, so you can see that I need to select the brush tool, okay, and then I need to select the black color from here. Now I will increase the size of brush. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. Make sure you select or click this rectangle. Alright, don't select this sun icon but this rectangle. Alright, now I will, as I make sure your opacity is 100%, flow is 100%. Alright, now I will add the black color to this mask. Make so I don't need brightness and contrast on the sky. Alright, you can see that as I am applying this black color on any particular area of this image, the brightness and contrast is being removed, and you can see that the blackish color is being added on this mask. It shows that the black color shows the area of image on which the black color is being applied will not be affected by this adjustment tool. Alright, right now we have adjustment layer of brightness and contrast. Alright, so as I mentioned earlier that I just want to apply the effect on the car, so let's add the black color on other parts of this image. Okay, so it might not be so accurate, but I just want to show you the idea behind masking. Okay, so I think that's I need to decrease the size of brush. Okay, so it's not so accurate, but I hope that you have understood the idea behind it. It's a little bit tough to understand at start, but if you do it by your own, first time you will get easier, and then second time it will be really easy for you to understand it. Okay, so this was the topic, and I showed you by using this brightness and contrast tool. We can also do it by other level tools. Okay, so like let's do it with let's remove it. Okay, and click on hue saturation button. Okay, you can see that this hue saturation effect is being applied to the whole image because this mask is white. Okay, you can see that it has been green. Now remove the hue saturation effect from this tree part. What we need to do, we need to add a black color over this mask. Select this mask, select the brush, and then add it. You can see that the hue saturation effect is being removed from these trees. So I think that has been removed. Okay, so guys, you can see that how accurate this tool is and how helpful it can be in various scenarios, and I will be showing you by doing some examples as well. Okay, in my second image that I have just opened. Another thing before proceeding to that image, I want to show that let's remove these layers. Okay, and just click on this layer, but don't select any of these adjustment tools. In fact, select this icon. You can see that add layer mask. If you click on this, it will not create a new layer, it will add a mask just on the right side of the layer on which our image has been added. You can see that this image was on the layer 0 and the mask is also on the layer 0. Okay, so what if we apply the black color on it? What will happen? Okay, right now this white color shows that the image that composed of white color will be shown, and the image that is composed of black color will not be shown, means that part will be hidden but not be removed. Okay, so let's do it. This is the brush tool and just start moving. Okay, you can see that the blackish area of this mask, and as I am applying this black color over this image, it is being removed. So you can also say that we can also do it with the help of selection tool. We can select a particular area of the image and then remove that area, but that has some drawback, that has a disadvantage. What if you have removed any area that you didn't want it to remove, or you have to included some part of the image that you haven't included? So right now this is not removed, this is hidden because it is behind this blackish color. What if we want to bring some part of the image back? We will add some white color on it. I will select the brush and I will inverse the color. You can see that the white color is being selected. Now as I apply the white color, you can see that the area of image is getting back. Okay, so the purpose of showing this, that you are really flexible, and it doesn't make you feel so bad if you have just removed some part of the image and you just want to get it back. So this really helps you. It just hide the image. As you save the image, it will keep this image as it is, the part of the image that is being removed and the part of the image that is being shown. So guys, that was pretty much it. But before the end of this video, let's do some example. Let's do some practical example. So you can see that this is the image of car. What I will do is I will add a black and white effect, black and white adjustment layer on this image, but that black and white effect will only be affected on this car, okay, but not the outer area of this image. Okay, so you can see that this is the background layer. Now the black and white adjustment layer is this one. I'll click on this. Okay, you can see that the black and white effect has been applied. Now I need to remove this black and white effect from the other part of this image. Okay, so what I need to do, I need to select this mask, okay, and select the black color. Now I need to fill the part of image that I want to be shown in color. So I need to be more accurate. Okay, right now you can't see any difference because the background is white. So I think that's pretty much it for showing you the practical example that how we can use it pretty well. It has some other built-in options as well. If you just double click on it, you can see that the every adjustment tool will have this icon and this icon. You can see that this icon is similar to this icon right here. Okay, if I click on this, you can also change the density and feather of this whitish area or the blackish area that is not being selected. Okay, so what I need to do, I need to select this rectangular thing in order to activate these densities. Right now you can see that the density is 100% because I wanted this effect to be applied fully 100%. Okay, if I increase the feather, you can see that the borders of my whitish area is getting blurred, and as it gets blurred you can see that the boundaries of this car is also being getting greenish. Okay, so it's pretty well if you want some images, the border of those images to be blurred and not to be so accurate. This can be really helpful. Okay, so right now, as I explained you some selection tools in my previous videos, you can also select this whitish area of this image by selecting this icon. Okay, if I click on this, you can see that the whitish area has been selected. So you can see that how well this tool can be used. In this part I will talk further about layer masking, but I will be refining some edges, like as you know that there are black and white colors in the mask, so I will refine the white borders of the mask with the help of different techniques. Other than this, I will also talk about how to use layer masking with the help of colors and with the help of different other techniques. Okay, so let's start. First, you can see that this is an image which I'm gonna select, the cat image, and this is on the default background layer. What I will do is I will select this tool, okay, magic wand tool, and select the cat hole. Press shift and select the cat including its eyes and each and everything. Okay, so if you don't know how to use this magic wand tool, make sure you have seen my video on selection. Okay, so Let's click on it, press shift in order to activate the plus icon on it. Okay, so I think that's great. So there is nothing within this cat that is not being selected. So you can see that this area have been selected. I want to make the mask of it, but before that I want to make sure that if the selected area is smoothly defined or not. In order to do it, what I need to do, make keep this selection and click on this refine edge. Okay, you can see that a new dialog box has been opened. Now you can clearly see that there are some ups and downs in the selection around the border of this cat. We can also view this in another modes as well, like this is the default, this is the black and the black and white. I want to smoothen this view. Okay, so let's activate the smart radius. Okay, but before that let's click on black in order to see if the selection have been worked perfectly or not. So increase the radius. You can see that the borders of the cat are being smoothened. Okay, so I think that's pretty much fine. If you want to use another technique, let's bring it back to 0 and click right here. Make sure this button have been clicked, and if you hover your cursor on this canvas, you can see the plus icon within the circle. Now if I keep on clicking around the border of this cat, you can see that it is automatically smoothing the border of this cat. Okay, so you can see that how well it is doing here. Okay, so you can see that this is the blackish area is the area that have not been selected. If I go to the black and white, okay, if I go to the on black, you can see that these uh, feathers of cat, the hairs are also being selected. Okay, we can also do it. Let's press Ctrl Z, Ctrl Alt and Z. It will not work because this refine edge window have been opened. Okay, but you can also do it like smooth edges. If you haven't done it with this brush tool, you can also do it with the different values, because this brush will have some default values and it will do it automatically. If you want to make things in your custom values, you can change the feathers, you can see that, and you can change the smoothness, contrast and something other in order to select this area. Now what we need to do is, you can see that the output to value is set to be selected. Alright, if I click OK, then this cat area will be selected with the smoothened borders, and later on we can add mask on it. But if we want to apply mask directly, what I need to do, I need to go right here and click on layer mask. Okay, it will keep selection and it will also create the layer mask as well. Okay, you can see that it has created the layer mask around it. If I haven't clicked on that layer mask, then I needed to click this button in order to create this mask icon on it. Okay, and now later on I can do other stuff as well. If I need to bring something back, I can do it by drawing some blackish color on it. Okay, I'm removing some part of the cat. Okay, let's remove its mustache. Okay, so it's pretty well. So let's create a new layer, bring it down and change its background color. Okay, so you need to take care of the comparison of the feathers of this cat and the background. You can see that it's not looking pretty well. I need to make it a bit darker. Okay, so I think that's looking pretty well. So you need to make sure take care of these things. Okay, so that was all. Now next thing that I want to show you, that how to make layer masking and the selection with the help of color range. Okay, let's Control Z. Okay, if I click here and delete layer mask, now our cat is back. Now click on this layer 0 and select and click on color range. Okay, So what you need to do, you can select any particular area. I've already explained in my previous video uh, that how to select any particular area of image based on colors. Okay, so this is what all about. I have to click on the sampled color if I want to select any particular area that is available inside the image. From these colors I can check this colors as well, but I want to select custom, okay, sampled colors. So what I need to do right now, this whitish area will be selected if I click OK. Okay. All right. Now let's click on this plus icon so that it also keep on selecting. It's pretty well. Make sure you click on different other things. Well, it's not selecting some part of the cat. So let's select the yellow color. Okay. If I click right here, you can see that it has selected the yellow color, but some part of its body as well, because some shade of yellow are also included in the cat hairs. Okay, so let's click OK, but before proceeding further, let's decrease the fuzziness. All right, so you are seeing that how well it is applying the selection on this cat image. Previously it was at the center. It means that it will also select the colors that are near to the area that we have clicked on. If we want to select any particular area of image that is belonging to the exact color that we have clicked on, then we should decrease its value. Okay, now let's select right here as well. Okay, so you can see that only the eyes are being selected. Alright, again, as we did in the refine edge tab, we can also do it quick mask. It will automatically create a quick mask with it. So you can see that the eyes are being selected from this image. Okay, not completely. Let's add right here as well. Okay, so press shift so that the plus icon with this eyedropper tool will be activated, and another part of the cat's eye will be selected as well. Now I will click OK. Alright, now I will click on this button, so the eyes will be selected. Alright, you can see that the eyes are being selected. Now if I want to bring back the complete eyes, the retina as well, what I need to do, I need to click on brush tool, click right here, and I think that will be well. So you can see that it is bringing back the parts of eyes from this cat image. I will talk about filters, but before that I want to talk about some tip related to layers inside Photoshop. So let's start. Let's say we have this image and this is the image on this layer 0, and I want to decrease the size of this image. So let's say I'll go to image size, and I want to decrease it to, let's say, 100. Alright, now later on I want to increase it back to 640. Alright, its width is the 640. I don't know what its height, I didn't see it. So let's change it back to 640. Alright, so you can see that the image is blurred. The Photoshop didn't remember the previous pixel's position, but it extracted the small pixels after decreasing its size and extract those pixels to bring that image as I increase the size of image again. Alright, but I want this image to retain its accuracy, retain the position of actual pixels that were previously added. Alright, so let's control Z and control Alt Z again. So I wanna bring this image again as I decrease the size of this image. Right now you can see that this is the rectangle, and in this rectangle we can see the small image. If I right click on the name of this layer, and there is an option called convert to smart object, what it will do is it will remember the pixels of this image that is being shown right now. Alright, now let's change the image size.
I have changed the image size 100. Alright, and let's change it back to 640. 640. So guys, you can see that Photoshop remembered because I converted this layer into smart object. So the name says that this layer will be so smart to remember its pixels position of this image. So this was a tip. It is very useful if you're working on large project. Alright, so it is not recommended that you always convert every layer into smart object. Alright, there are some scenarios that you need to work on some filters, or you need to work on canvas size, image size, rotation, or the transformation of the image, and then this small object smart object can be very useful. Alright, it is not that much useful if you're working on these adjustment tools. So I wanna bring it back to the normal layer state. Alright, so now let's talk about filters. Filters are used to apply different effects, but not the color effect, but also the blur effect. You can see that the distort effect, noise effect, different kinds of noises we can add, and different kinds of pixels. As I mentioned that we need to convert this image into smart object. Alright, before converting this image into smart object, let's apply a filter on this image, and we will find out that what are the disadvantages of not converting this image into smart object. Alright, so I'll leave it as it is. Okay, so let's select this image and I'll go to filter, and let's blur this image. I'll choose this Gaussian blur. This is the most famous blur and recommended by most Photoshop users. Okay, I'll click on this. I'll increase its value. Alright, its radius is 2. Okay, so I'll click OK. Alright, and after that I wanna increase its brightness. Okay, and I wanna increase its contrast as well. Okay, now let's say I have applied the contrast, hue, saturation, and first I applied some blur filter on it. Alright, now what if I want to decrease the value of blur? I want to decrease or increase the radius of blur. I can't do it because it has been applied and the pixels of image have been changed. Alright, if I go again and apply the blur effect again, it will be applied on the current image. It will be the blur, Gaussian blur effect will be applied 2 times. Alright, so how we can keep the state of any filter that we want to change later on. Alright, if I have applied so many things and I want to change this blurred effect, do I need to press Ctrl Z to step back to the first state in order to change that effect? No. Or I always want to customize things that can be customized later on. If I apply different effects, if I apply 10 effects and I want to change the second effect, and I don't want to go back, press Ctrl Z 8 times to change the second effect. Alright, so again I need to convert this image into smart object. Alright, I'll Ctrl Z, Ctrl Alt C to go back one more time. Okay, so this is the actual image. Now I want to convert it to smart object. Now let's go to filter. I'll go to blur and apply Gaussian blur. I will keep it to 2 and I'll click OK. You can see that it has created this mask and the Gaussian blur array. I can just activate and deactivate this Gaussian blur. So what is the purpose of this mask? Alright, if I want to apply this blur on any part of this image, I can do it. If I go to brush, I click on this rectangular icon. Okay, and then you can see that let's change the color to black, and if I just draw black color on the tree, you can see that tree is no more blurred because there is a black color on it. I have changed the flow and the opacity so that it applies so slowly. Alright, so you can see that if I didn't convert this image into smart object, this mask wasn't available. Alright, as I converted this image into smart object, the mask has been added, and if I want to change the value, the radius of that effect, I can do it by clicking on this Gaussian blur. I'll double click on it and you can see that this window has been opened again, and I will change it to 4. So you can see that I can customize this image anytime I want later on. If I have applied so many effects on this image and I just want to go back and change the blurred effect, I can do it like this. So this can be very useful. Make sure if you want to work with filters on this image, please convert that image into smart object. Alright, so let's check out some 2-3 more filters, but in this video, from the next video, I'll talk further about different filters available right now. Filter gallery, rendering, sharpening, styles. So let's press Ctrl Z so many times, Ctrl Alt Z, I guess. Okay, so this is the actual image. Alright, now let's convert it to smart object, and I will go right here and I will go to, what was that? It was, I wanted to tell you about lens flare effect. Alright, you might be seeing that if you capture an image, the sun image, there are some dots of reflection inside your camera lens. Alright, so you can see that right now this image is so small inside this window, you might not be seen. Right now we have this sun right now in this image. I choose this image because I wanted to show you this lens flare effect. This is the sun and the light is coming towards us, and we want to start the lens flare from this point. Okay, so I will bring it back to right here, and I can also change the value of its brightness. Okay, I can change its length as well, but I want to keep it to the first point. Okay, so let's this. Okay, now I'll click OK. So you can see that there are some circles around this. This is because that you might capture an image and the light of sun reflects the lens of your camera and the image comes like this. Okay, I have applied this image. You can see that there is a mask. If I want to remove something from the lens flare effect, I can also do it. So let's click on this and change the color to black, and I want to decrease the lens flare effect from here, and I want to remove some effect from here as well, the outer circle. So you can see that how well we can work with this filter. Alright, including the smart object on this image. Alright,
So guys, that was all that I decided in this tutorial, and I know that I told you about the pen tool that I will explain later on, but I'm not gonna make it because I have already created a tutorial on this pen tool. If you go to the playlist in my channel, Photoshop tutorial for beginners, I have created in-depth full Photoshop series. If I have missed anything in my this video, you will find those things from this series. Alright, and for the pen tool that you want to learn, you can check out the videos character designing in Photoshop CC and professional logo design in Adobe Photoshop. I have created logo and this character using that pen tool. So for the pen tool learners, you need to check out these two tutorials. I will be giving links of these videos in the description given below. So that was all for this tutorial. Make sure you subscribe my channel, like this video and comment below if you have any question. Thanks for watching.